Ladies and gentlemen, I can't believe I'm about to say this, but 2026 has not actually had that many contenders for the Concord Awards. You know, honestly, by the end of this year, it was going to be tough. It was going to be tough because there weren't that many nominees, but I think we have a real contender on our hands, man. I think we have a real contender on our hands. Are you ready? Are you ready? Let's see. IGN did a preview. Shocker, after my videos. They didn't want me to try it early. Yeah, high guard, I think, is the front runner. It's at the high guard position. We'll work on it. There's a joke there. I'll figure it out. I'll have Jacob work on it. We'll work on it. But let's see if the Agefield could give high guard a run for their money. Let's see.
I really wanted to like Agefield High Rock.
I didn't. In the trailer, they'd straight up have a noose. Like and like insinuate that multiple professors are involved with let's just say illicit behaviors with minors. So I was not exactly rooting for this, but let's see.
The school. It wasn't shy about wearing its bully influences on its Letterman jacket, and Rockstar sure doesn't seem interested in a sequel, but 6 missions in, I think I'm ready to drop out of Agefield High. Bathed in hollow, early aughts nostalgia, it feels like the adolescent hallucination of someone who's never set foot inside of a suburban American high school. Its faux punk, juvenile tone felt more like a sauceless ChatGPT redux of American Pie era comedies, filtered through a No More Heroes side quest than a cheeky, Rockstar-style lampooning of Anytown, USA. I've biked from corner to corner of Agefield, delivering food, fighting bullies, maintaining my GPA, and learning to fit in with my fellow rejects. And after dabbling in as much main and side content as possible, I'm struggling to find anything redeemable about this game beyond a gag.
Say it with me. I told you so. I told you so. Remember how just like a week and a half ago, I think it was IGN and GameSpot had articles out suggesting that this was going to be a spiritual successor to Bully. Like utterly insane if you've seen any of these trailers. Like it's insane that anybody was hyping this up. But for real, like they actually were. I suspect, and this, I want to be clear, this is alleged. I don't have any like crazy evidence or anything. I just have a sneaking suspicion, and as we watch through the rest of this, I want you to keep an eye out for it. I have a sneaking suspicion that this game was like 80% made by AI. Okay, like not just the script, but a lot of the coding, a lot of the art assets and stuff. You'll start to look around and be like, I think the what did he say? He said like it's a hallucination of someone who never actually set foot in high school. It's like a robot's interpretation after being fed a bunch of like movies like Joe Dirt. You know, it's like what it thinks it is supposed to be. That, or it's a combination of like AI tools mixed with, I don't know where the studio is, but it kind of gives me the idea of like a team that's in another part of the world that's never interacted with American culture or like American high schools in that era. Because it's like, it's not just stereotypes, it's like stereotypes of stereotypes. It's like even more reductive than that. But anyway, let's see.
Stuff I saw was unpolished, uninspired, and flat.
It was just a prank. I didn't know he'd end up in the hospital.
I don't see the big picture stuff improving, even if Agefield High's rougher edges, namely its buggy gameplay and wonky physics, get sanded down before its rapidly approaching August release date.
Good morning, everybody. This young man right here is our new student, Sam.
Looks like a loser.
Agefield feels like it's about to bubble over with appropriate angst. Adults are stuck in dead-end jobs and loveless marriages. Teachers don't know what they're doing. The elderly are constantly complaining about kids these days. And everyone at your school is shaking the bars of their fluorescent-lit enclosure, ready to get on with life. But compared to some of my favorite coming-of-age comedies, it's all skin deep. It doesn't engage with culture, time, or place in a way that measures up to the movies it's borrowing from.
Hold on, just like real quick for a moment, read the subtitles. Okay, first here.
Comedies, it's all
Seth, if we get busted because of you, I'm gonna kill you, virgin. Okay.
Skin deep. It doesn't.
You're lucky I had to sand the calluses off an old woman's nasty ass feet, and all she gave me was an effing dollar. It's like if you trained an AI on like old episodes of Malcolm in the Middle and then like tried to then make jokes based off of that, but with none of the like setup for those jokes or for those moments or the delivery. It's just like the anecdote. It's just the post-it note. Because I think there was even a storyline in one of the old episodes of Malcolm in the Middle where like he has to go, oh, it's that he like threw a baseball or hit a baseball. It broke the lady's window or something. Or she broke her arm somehow. And so then he has to go and like help her as she's going about her life until her arm heals or something like that. So like it's the whole premise of the episode, but then there's like jokes stacked on top of that over and over and over again. And it builds and builds and builds until eventually he like builds this rapport with the old lady. This is just like the anecdote of I scrubbed calluses off an old lady's feet. You know, like there's no depth. It's just that. It's just that, you know, it's really, really, really shocking.
Engage with culture, time, or place in a way that
Malcolm in
measures
the
up
Middle's
to
great.
the movies it's borrowing from. I was 2 years old in 2002, and even I can tell you this is a hollow knockoff.
Hold on, what? He was 2 years old?
Years old in 2000, a way that measures up to the movies it's borrowing from. I was 2 years old in 2002, and even I can tell you this is a hollow knockoff. I'd feel in...
Wait, is this one of those videos where someone else wrote it and then he's reading it? I think they showed that at the beginning. Hold on, we're at 209.
It wasn't... I really wanted...
Yeah, okay, because Ryan is not 26 years old. Okay. I was like, Ryan is not 26 years old. Not at all. But I see, it's written by this guy, Charlie, and then Ryan McCaffrey is doing the video voiceover for some reason. I honestly, I don't know why IGN does that. I honestly don't know. I guess it's because like he's their main cast or something, but I don't know, man. I don't get it. So you hear that, you're like, he's not 26. He's like in his mid 40s, mid to late 40s. He's like their executive editor. He's been around forever.
I'd feel insane too if I lived in a town the size of 4 city blocks and heard the same few lines of dialogue everywhere I go. I didn't keep a strict count,
Dude, they're
but I
so
think
scary.
most kinds of NPCs, divided by age and sex, each got about 5 lines. Some characters, like your mom, the school bully, or specific teachers, get their own. I swear I'd heard them all within an hour. I think I'll lose my mind if I hear another,
Mr. Carpenter gave me an F.
or,
When I was your age, I wanted to become a movie star.
or,
I have so much homework. Ugh.
It's time, but be careful. Mr. Haley's roaming the halls.
Dude, I'm sorry. Just like, what is that? What even is that? That's so scary. Okay, I'm sorry. It's just scary. Like, say what you will about High Guard. May it rest in pieces. The production value was high. I mean, they had to spend that $100 million somewhere. The production value was high. You didn't have characters that looked like, 1980s claymation special effects creatures. Like that's horrifying. Look, grabbing on indie devs. I don't even know what this is, dude. Like, I don't know what this is. This could be totally robot. Like, one of those, Elon was saying, he's like, in a couple of years, we'll have the ability for Grok to generate your own GTA game. I don't know if this is like one of those things where it's just an AI that pumped some crap out, or if it is honestly a team. I don't know. All I know is that it's shocking. It's genuinely shocking. It's stunning.
that should give you a good understanding of the kind of script Refugium Games are working with. Its derivative ideas and uncartoonish caricatures offer nothing to set this specific shade of gray apart. Each cutscene will leave you sighing and rolling your eyes at its parade of cliches. And what is memorable or noteworthy is bad. At the very least, sometimes it's funny bad.
Hey! No one gets pregnant on my watch!
This is
Okay, that's funny. I'll give you that. We saw that in another trailer. That is genuinely funny. Like, the idea that the security guard is patrolling the halls to make sure no one gets pregnant. That's funny. I'll give him that.
all made worse by Agefield High's dogged attempts to undermine each cutscene with Uncanny Valley characters, whose faces and mouths move and change just enough to be unsettling, but not nearly enough to be taken seriously. Naturally, this is all framed with some of the worst cutscene camera choices I've ever seen in a video game. Nearly every cutscene or mission will start with a close-up of a character's face that lasts seconds longer than it needs to. Every time. And every time, they just stand there staring blankly, often directly into the camera. It's hilarious, just not for the reasons the writers want.
Now, let me be clear. I do think there is a world in which this game could do well. Like, I do think that there is an audience out there for like indie AA bully spin-off game. I would love an irreverent bully spiritual successor. And I think that that is a ripe bush for the plucking. Is that an analogy that works? Maybe, I don't know. I think that could work because people obviously love bully. They love irreverent games. They love games that are like ridiculous and outrageous. I think that could work. But I think what you're also seeing is it's a lot harder to do than you might think. One of the classic mistakes I think a lot of people make is that they think because X game or X format was like doable in, when did Bully come out? Like 2000, I think it was a while back. It was like 2006 or something. Just because they were able to do that back then with like 30 people, we should be able to do the same thing today because we have Unreal Engine and we've got the AI tools that can help us code and all that and write the scripts and everything. And it's just not the case. It is way harder to do than you would think. It is way harder to do, especially because as the last 20 years have ticked by, the expectations have risen. Back in 2006, you could have a really low poly model with just its mouth moving ever so slightly like a puppet. Nowadays, when you render the image in 4K and you're using high quality Unreal tree assets and house assets, and then you're using metahuman characters instead of low poly models, all of a sudden you can't do that anymore. The like really basic mouth animations triggers the uncanny valley way worse than if I think if they went with like a low poly version. I do think that like if you were to do this, the cheat code would honestly be to like lean in fully to the bully inspirations and just make everything like low poly and make everything like the OG. You know, embrace it. Yeah, you don't need super realistic face animations when you have low poly models and your brain kind of understands that and accepts it. It's not, this isn't real, right? You're not trying to be real. So you can get away with easier things. I believe all of these were also motion captured, which is also really funny that now that's considered pretty rare. But anyway, continuing.
Could forgive poor tone or a bad script for some fun gameplay, but Agefield High cast no such lifeline. I spent most of my time with the demo biking around town. Sometimes I was running from a bully or racing against a clock. Other times I was meeting up with my friends in the park. You can do tricks on the bike you earn early on in the game, but I was never really encouraged to take advantage of them aside from a few ramps scattered around town. If there's anything redeemable in the chunk I played, it's this. The cycling isn't necessarily amazing, but it's really the only part of the demo that felt right. Crashes even end with that goofy GTA-like ragdoll, just with wonkier physics. But every once in a while, failing a mission or getting knocked out would respawn the bike in a place that soft-locked me from completing the mission. Luckily, Agefield is filthy with bikes you can pick up should your bike spawn in a bad spot.
I can't believe I'm doing this.
When you're not hell on wheels, chances are you're sneaking around somewhere you shouldn't be. Most missions ended with some kind of stealth, in fact. This kind of teen comedy almost begs for some stealth comedy with its panty raids and teacher's lounge burglary.
Do they literally have you doing panty raids? Is that literally what it is?
Stealth comedy with its panty.
Get Ashley's panties. Wow, that's. You know what? It is very early 2000s. It is very early 2000s, like very, very much so.
Raids and teacher's lounge burglary. Unfortunately, these sections aren't very polished.
What I find funny though, honestly, with all this, like remember that IGN is the same outlet that did that like hit piece on Black Myth Wukong's developer saying that it was like super problematic and that nobody should support it and that the studio was like crazy sexist. And their final bullet point, they're like, final thing to like prove that they really nailed this. And I'm not joking. Their final period on their argument was that the logo for the company looked like a sperm. I am not joking. We did the videos going through the article and everything. I don't want to pull it up again because I don't want to give them ad revenue, but you can see the clips we did on it. They literally finished their argument by saying that, I'm just saying it's really interesting that this company has a logo that looks kind of like a sperm. Therefore, the company is sexist. What? And then here they are, like just a week or two ago, IGN was putting out posts hyping up this game, which has you doing literal panty raids. Like, what are we doing? I think they're all kind of like, for one, that's actually a particle effect from their previous game, which was like a mobile game shooter. It's not a sperm, but even if it were, why is that a problem? But then with this, it's like, yeah, it's a video game. It's stupid. You're doing a panty raid because it's like a stupid quest line meant to mimic early 2000s movies like this. Like, it's stupid. It's fun. It's whatever. But like, let's at least try to be consistent. This is why like I can't take them that seriously when they do those like hit piece articles trying to play holier than thou, but then hype up a game that has you doing literal panty raids. You know?
There's always an indicator somewhere on screen telling you when you're visible, but I swear I've been seen while outside of the clearly broadcast vision cones on your HUD, sometimes even through a wall or on another floor. It's just frustrating how fast and loose this stuff felt. Thankfully, these sections are all pretty short, so slipping up or getting caught by someone with X-ray vision won't set you back too much.
Security!
But sometimes you'll get caught and need to fight back. This is by far the most egregious part of the gameplay and also the most frustrating. The fights I played all went the same way. Throw punches while locked onto your target, block a few blows, push your enemy to break their guard, kick a few times, and hope that everything connects. While there is a lock-on, there's no tracking, so each attack is disjointed from every other action, including movement. So you stop moving while punching or pushing. This breaks any momentum or link between attacks you throw out, causing a lot of punches to whiff even though they look like they'd connect. It's kind of a miracle of physics that the punches are weightless and the movement is heavy.
Welcome to class, boys and girls.
Like, it just doesn't make any sense at all. This whole game is confusing.
Your misadventures contend with a rigorous academic schedule that's lined up with an in-game clock. English, German, geography, math, and music classes all come with a mini-game to complete, each ending with a letter grade based on your performance that determines how much of your allowance you actually make. All of them, except for music, are the exact same multiple-choice quiz, just with German vocab swapped out for identifying countries on a map or filling in missing letters in a word on a spelling quiz. The minigame for music class, which also gets used in one of the last missions of the demo, is a shoddy Guitar Hero-like rhythm game whose inputs don't hit with any oomph and generally feel offbeat.
Dude, that would drive me crazy. Like, doing a rhythm game that isn't in sync with the rhythm sounds like literal torture.
Need to attend class, but missing classes will make it harder for you to earn an allowance, thus giving you less money to spend on new clothes, a haircut, or a snack from the hot dog cart.
We have the best prices in Agefield.
The tutorial even suggested that you might get the attention of the police if you miss enough classes. If you cut class, it's probably to check out the other side content that's equally repetitive. I saw 2 different chore-like missions. A lawn mowing minigame that's ripped straight from No More Heroes, and a food delivery minigame which is a great way to earn some extra in-game cash. There are also some one-off side quests that take you to new parts of town, but they follow the same structure as the main stuff. Every inch of Agefield feels gray, flavorless, and flat in a way that makes me wonder if AI was used. That's not an accusation, to be clear, but it's at the very least an indictment of what's being presented.
I mean, it's pretty bad if you can't tell the difference. It's like Schrodinger's AI. It's like, is it Is it here or is it not? I can't tell. So does it actually matter if it was or if it wasn't? Like, it's so soulless that you can't tell, which says a lot.
No sense of originality or style like in the games and movies it's so clearly ripping off.
I think it's also the problem with using like, well, any sort of asset packs and stuff. Because nowadays you can go within Unreal or Unity has their own platforms for this. But like even with just Unreal specifically, you have like metahumans to make NPCs. You have crazy huge asset packs that have like houses and buildings and trees and cars and any sort of weapons you might need, animation packs and all this. It's just all download, drag and drop. Like it's very, very straightforward. And so you can skip past that part of production, which is really nice and can speed things up. But then you just end up with something that looks generic because it is. It's just like free content packs or $50 content packs that you just drag and dropped in. And there's nothing truly unique to tie it all together. Now, if you were to go back through and do like maybe super specific lighting or redesign the characters, or what a lot of studios will do is that they'll use those types of asset packs as placeholders, and then they go back in later and replace all the assets with stuff that they've made or that they've contracted another company to make for them. But I just think like when you're just using asset packs and then you do nothing with them, you will end up with something that looks generic because it is, you know? Joseph says the fact that this game is getting so much coverage shows that there's a big appetite for an actual Bully sequel. I just think it's hard to make something like this in the current time we live in. I think it's hard to make something like this, period, full stop, no matter when. I mean, 10 years ago, this would still be hard to pull off, which is why basically nobody has. And today it's probably even more difficult because things are super expensive. And there is, I'm going to be real. Honest question in chat, agree or disagree. I want to know. I've heard a lot of people say you couldn't make a game like this today. You couldn't make a game like Bully. You know, you couldn't make a movie like Tropic Thunder today. And I'm not sure I buy that. I guess it depends on what you mean by you couldn't. I think it would perform very, very well. I think if you were to do like Bully 2, I think that thing is a smash success. Will some people on Twitter or Blue Sky like throw a fit? Sure, I guess. But I think that there is a hunger for it, and I think they would perform financially very, very well. I think that they would go viral. I think they would pop off. Now, when somebody says that it would be hard to make this, maybe what they mean is it would be hard to secure funding in a traditional way. Like it would be hard to get an investor to give you $100 million for something that might be seen as controversial. And that perhaps I could see that being the case. But I also think that there's people out there or companies out there that could do it and take that leap. But that's just, you know, my suspicion. But yeah, I'm not sure if that's the case. I do think that irreverent games are popping off. They're doing really, really well. I mean, there was even that one that went viral just the other day where what was it called? It was that like plane game or like where you play flight attendants or something. Let's see. I think Jake tweeted about it. Hold on. Please hold. Let's find it. I'm scrolling. I'm still scrolling. I've been scrolling for a while and I'm still scrolling. We're scrolling. Oh my God, he tweets a lot. Jake, we need to get you outside more. Jake, oh God, here we go. Still scrolling. Is this it? No, that's not it. I swear to God, he tweeted about it. He just tweets a lot. Oh my God, this is crazy. Here it is, found it. So this game is another example of one of those like irreverent games that's like blowing up. I mean, I think they hit 1.5 million wish lists on Steam like it was nothing. And that is crazy impressive for a game that was previously unknown. Okay, it's a big deal. But when I say like irreverent, people like games that like are not trying to toe the PC line. Look at what this captain's name is. IGN wrote an article trying to get the game canceled, saying a lot of gamers are really pissed about this because this guy's name is Epst J or J Epst, and he's piloting a private plane. You know, it doesn't take a genius to figure out what the reference is. But like, yeah, and then other people start clipping it. This was literally just Spirit Airlines. That's pretty funny. I'm not going to scroll further. I know what that is. So anyway, I think that like the irreverence and people just being like edgy, it's kind of back in now. Like I'm sure we'll swing in 5 to 10 years back and everybody will be puritanical. Everybody has to pretend like games are hymns and need to be towing this like very, very PC line. But I think right now people are in more of a punk rock phase. Like they're just looking for something that is different, that stands out, you know?
It doesn't help that some characters bear uncomfortably close resemblance to real-life people, like the old man in town named Clint, who will look familiar to any fan of Westerns.
They tried to steal my lawnmower.
A lot of the mechanical wonkiness could potentially be fixed or built upon, but probably not in time for launch, as this game is out next month. I just don't see its feeble skeleton of Leonardo DiCaprio pointing level references and unbearably bad writing improving in any meaningful way over the remaining handful of missions. I could see this attaining cult status, but probably more like The Room or Book of Henry than Superbad or Napoleon Dynamite. I have a feeling that fans of the long sidelined Bully franchise who hoped Agefield High would recapture even a little bit of that classic's magic will be thoroughly disappointed when Agefield High Rock the School releases on August 12th. For more previews of the big...
Yeah, honestly, probably accurate. But it does just go to show you again, I think there is a real hunger. I think it was Joseph that said, the fact that this is getting so much attention shows that there's an interest in that type of game. And I think that's absolutely true. People want Bully. People would love it. They would love it. And, you know, we've been talking a lot about like GTA 6, what's happening with GTA 6 next. And what does Rockstar do after that? What's their next big project going to be? And there's options on the table. You know, they could go back and do sort of Red Dead 3 or a prequel, or they do like a game focused on Sadie or something, which I think could be cool. Or they go back to Bully or L.A. Noire, or what has been rumored for a while, which is that they have experimented with a medieval game. You guys might have seen that interview he did with Dan Houser. We looked at bits of it, but we talked a bit about it. This is what he said.
And then we played around with a knights concept that was knights and sort of trying to do a
So just be clear, he's one of the former like head honchos at Rockstar.
A version of a mythological game that could have been fun, and you know, still love that idea, but never went very far with it.
Knights would be going really far back in history.
Yeah, it would have to go. It never got to writing any of it. Just did some backstory and played around with a few ideas, but it was it's always something I thought I would never do, and then kind of fell in love with it a little bit.
So they played around with it. They might, but seeing Agefield High shows there's interest in Bully. A Knights game, let's be real, with like Red Dead 2 levels of production value and like budget and effort would be amazing. Going back to L.A. Noire, oh, please. Or, you know, they could go back to Red Dead or whatever. They could do that. In this same interview, he talks about the spy concept, because they previously announced like a game called Agent, I believe is what it was called, and it never saw the light of day. And he basically said that he thought, as far as open world games were concerned, there's just not a way to do it that works. Like, you kind of need to go linear. You effectively need to do the 007 First Light route, which works. But as far as like a Rockstar open world games, they were not able to figure out a concept that worked for their format, in like the spy espionage format, which is kind of telling. I mean, if these guys can't figure out how to make that work, then I don't think anybody can. But yeah, Medieval could work, Red Dead could work, L.A. Noire.
Imagine Rockstar X Pirates of the Caribbean game. OMG.
One word. Throbbing. 2 words. Full mast. That's my reaction to that. I agree. Can you imagine if they did like full-on pirate open world with Rockstar production value? Bro. Yes, please. Daddy's hungry. I would love that. I would love that. I don't know if they ever would, but I think that would be amazing. But again, Bully, I think is a layup. I think that could be cool, but it's also, I understand it's not as simple as it once was, because whatever they pick is something they're going to work on for 5 to 6 years. And that probably will have a budget in the realm of like $1 billion+. So what they are looking at, and this is the kind of crazy thing, they might at this point be too big to do a Bully. Like the version of Bully they would do, like what does a Bully with $1 billion budget look like? I don't know. Like what is it? Is it to go to college campus and they just like ream college campuses? That could be funny. That could be interesting. But like how else do you do, like they might be on a scale where they're like too big to try something that small. You know, it'd be very, very different. But anyway, there you go. Agefield High. It doesn't look like it's actually going to be the Bully successor we were hoping for, but you never know. Rockstar might circle back to it. Should be pretty cool. He took my thing.